and welcome to ESO Daily. I am your host, Mr. Craven. Alright, the event's going on, but I haven't been PvPing a lot in Cyrodiil lately, but I did want to finish this build for the Templar Tank, and it's more for organized group play. But if you're a Templar Tank looking to get into small organized group play, want to be effective, be really vile in people hating your guts, this build is up your alley. This is called the Defiler. Basically, we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to get into the character sheet. Now, this is sword and board on both sides. Currently, it may change with Somerset coming out, but currently it's sword and board on both sides. You're going to see max magicka at 22,222. Max health at 36,447. Max stamina is at 22,020. Spell resistance and physical resistance is 23 and 25 prior to our buff. To the left, you're going to see 37 points into magicka, 27 into stamina. We are a vampire. We are using the Lady Mundus. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the sets here. We're going to be using Fasala's Guile, Swarm Mothers, and, oh yeah, Mafala's Hand. Let's go down piece by piece, explain what the sets are, and I'll get into it. Okay, so we're going to be using Fasala's Guile. We're pretty much familiar with this set. It's going to give us max health, 4% healing taken. You apply minor defile to any enemy that comes within 5 meters of you for 2 seconds, reducing their healing received and their health recovery by 19%. Okay, now it's only for 2 seconds, but keep in mind it has no cooldown. So long as they're within 5 meters of you, it keeps refreshing the effect. Okay, so this is the axe of Fasala's Guile. This has got the weaken enchantment and it's sharpened. We have the shield of Fasala's Guile infused with multi-effect enchantment. That's ideal. Sword of Fasala's sharpened, crushers, really nice. We're going to drop their resistance, comes in handy. Shield of Fasala's Guile, once again, infused, multi-effect enchantment. We're using Swarm Mother's Mask. Now this has the multi-effect enchantment infused. It's ideal. What does the Swarm Mothers do? It gives us stam recovery, and when we block an attack from an enemy that is further than 5 meters from me, I spin strands of spider silk to pull the enemies to me. This can occur every second. What's really nice about this, it works well with Fasala's. We got to be within 5 meters. So it's going to pull them to us. It's going to debuff them. So once we block an attack, they get sucked in and they're debuffed. Okay. So add this next set on top of that. So we're going to use Curse of Mafala's Hand. This one has the multi-effect enchantment as well. It's also infused. This has 4% healing taken. It gives max health. It gives additional physical resistance. But here's the big deal. When I take damage, I have a 10% chance to cast a web around me for 5 seconds, reducing the movement speed of enemies within by 50%. That's really huge because by reducing their movement speed, I'm able to keep on top of them as my fellow group members are going to go ahead and wipe the floor with them. Really, really nice. We want to reduce that movement speed, keep the debuff applied, and it works out really good. Now, after 5 seconds, the web that spun around me is going to burst, dealing 2,664 poison damage. It's not a lot of damage, but here's the kicker. The minor fracture is going to apply to an enemy hit for 5 seconds. So any group of enemies, when that explodes, is within its vicinity, is going to be applied the minor fracture. Really, really nice set. So keep in mind, this is medium, so this is a 511 config to keep that Undaunted passive. So medium, heavy, light, max magicka, sturdy, ideal. Girdle of Mafala's Hand, sturdy, max health, ideal. You can go with magic or stamina if you want a little bit more and want to reduce the health, that's fine. Gauntlets of Fasala's Guile, impen. I'm going to have 2 pieces of impen, just reduce a little bit of the damage between blocks if it falls off. Greaves of Fasala's Guile, infuse, stamina, ideal. Uh, adds Sabatons of Sol's Guile. I need to upgrade this. Magicka, ideal. Necklace of Mafala's Hand. You'll get this in Cradle of Shadows. So if anybody wants to know where you get Mafala's, you get that in Cradle of Shadows dungeon. Ring, and these all have block reduction. So I have the jewelry set. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the skills real quick. Okay. First off, we're going to be using Dark Flare. Right? This is pretty nasty. Because when I conjure this, it's going to deal some damage. Now keep in mind, it has 1.1 second cast. But the big deal is the major defile. So I have minor with Fasalas, right? So now I can stack the effect with the major. That's why I'm not using Durok's Bane. I'm using this to apply major defile. So that's going to stack on top of the minor. Really good. Puncturing Sweeps, it's just two reasons it's going to be on here. One, it's kind of got a self-heal to it. You don't really care about damage. But it's got self-heals, and then when you go into the passive to Spear Wall, increase the amount of damage you can block from melee attacks by 15% when you have an Adder Spear ability slotted. That's why it's on there. Okay? If you want to go with Biting Jabs, you can. I just like the Puncturing Sweeps a little bit better because it has a little bit of self-healing to it. Spike Bone Shield, I stack shields. Really nice, so I don't have to kill players. They can kill themselves. So I pull in the shields, stack the shields. They hit me. They take damage. Win-win. Here's a really important one for your group as well. Radiant Mage Light. Okay, why am I using Radiant Mage Light? Well, it's kind of simple here. It's going to give me the Major Prophecy when it's slotted. But I also prevent stuns from stealth attackers for me and nearby allies. The bane of everybody's existence is, guess what? Night Blades. One of the most beneficial assets Night Blades have are stuns coming out and ambushing. So that eliminates the stun effect. So if they ambush you, you or your allies are not going to get stunned. Really nice. Stalwart Guard. Now, I'm using Stalwart instead of the other one because the Restoring Focus already gives me the Minor Vitality. So I don't need the Minor Vitality. So I'm going to use the Stalwart Guard. So it's really nice. I can hit this with my healer or DPS. It's going to create the bond. It's going to give, while bonded, 30% of the damage they take is redistributed to me instead. Okay, I'm a tank. That's my job. Also, they're going to get minor force, right? That increases their critical strike damage by 10%. Really nice for Magicka players who's not using rearming trap in a build, especially in PvP. I haven't got this morph, but you want to take Shield Wall and grab the corresponding morph that's going to suit you better, the best. Back bar, Deep Slash. So we've already covered the Defile, right? So what about Maim? Maim comes in handy, especially when you're facing larger groups. So I had to deal with a lot of Green Alliance crap today. Ugh, nasty. Toxic as hell. People are going to say this build's toxic and cancerous, but that's pretty cancer and toxic. But anyways, I want to go ahead and use this because it's going to apply minor maim. I really do want the Deep Slash. I want to apply it to multiple enemies instead of one. I want to reserve the stamina cost and afflicts 2 enemies. And it's also going to reduce what? More movement speed. So between my puncturing sweeps, right? Reducing movement speed, Mafala's, and then the Deep Slash, I can keep them close for the Fasala's debuff. Really nice. Restoring Focus. Okay, it's going to go ahead and give me my Major Resolve, my Major Ward, increasing physical and spell resistance, and also keep in mind I'm going to get the Minor Vitality, the Minor Protection, increasing my healing received by 8% and reducing my damage by 8%. Blazing Shield, once again, I'm going to shield stack. It's going to go 17 along with the Bone Shield. That's 17 stack. Okay, so yeah. And of course, it's going to return 33% of the damage to melee attackers. It's going to deal 44% of the damage absorbed. And of course, Bone Shield is 33% from melee attacks. Okay, so melee, it'll double effect. Magicka users only Bone Shield because they're not dealing melee. Resolving Vigor, self-heal on top of the Puncturing Sweeps. And once again, Stalworth on both bars. Now here's my main ultimate in groups. Solar Disturbance. Oh yes, I love this. Why? Because we have the minor maim. Say hello to the major maim. Once I go ahead and proc this, I drop this little bad baby right in the middle of the group. So imagine it. I'm blocking. I got, you know, my guard on my healer. All of a sudden, they're keeping me healed. It's sucking everybody in the more they hit me. As soon as they hit me and they're drawn in, I drop this boy. Boom! Major maim. Hit him with the deep slash, drop the shields, and everybody else just takes care of the rest. Also, it's going to reduce their movement speed by an additional 65%. Yeah, really, really enjoy this. Now, if anybody's asking me what kind of food I'm running, you can run whatever food you're comfortable with, but I prefer the triple max because usually if I'm with a small group, you know, the healer will throw shards or orbs or something, and I can weave up. So, comes in handy. All right, so let's get into the champion points really quick here. We'll start off with the tower. Warlord is at 10.22. Nothing in tenacity. I'm getting a 25% bonus for heavy attacks to recoup, so don't really need it. Arcanist 1208, Mooncalf 1208, nothing in the healthy. Here's the big one, Defile. We're going to take this up to 30.36. Why? Yeah, we're using Defile. So as we're defiling, we want to capitalize on the Defile buff. We're also going to reduce our block cost by an additional 23% on top of our sturdy. Okay, Bless 909, Elemental Expert 707. We're going to deal a little bit of damage. Keep in mind puncturing sweeps is going to deal magic damage, so we want to put a little bit in there because that's base. Spell erosion, you'll need pen. Keep in mind my weapons are sharpened for a reason. I'm pushing a little, almost 7 pen. Not a lot, but enough to, you know, reap the benefits. So, nothing into the Atronach. Thaumaturge, once again, puncturing sweeps, 15.10. Piercing, 4257. And Mighty 707. So you guys kind of see I kept it even because why? I'm dealing stamina and magic damage. Okay, coming over to the Warrior Steed, 40. We only had a few points. Keep in mind, we're mainly tanking, but we want to reduce some critical damage. So we have 2 impen. We got this. I mean, it's not a lot, but we don't want to give up our block. That everything's built around the block in this build. But just enough to kind of offset a little bit of that difference. Nightblades can be a little bit pain in the ass, especially if your shield drops. Okay, Hardy 37, Elemental Defender 909. If you want to drop these a little bit to put a little bit more into your critical resistance, you could. Thick Skin 611. Bastion, we're using shields. Shields are cut in half. We want to capitalize a little bit more on this, 1602. We want to put some points in a quick recovery, 707. We're going to up our physical resistance. Now, our physical resistance is a little high, so if you wanted to reallocate a couple of these points into anything else, you can do that. Okay, and that is how the champion points are allocated. Now, if you're playing solo, right, this would not be a good build for you. This is meant for, like, you know, small groups, anywhere from, you know, 3 to 12. This is what this build's designed to do, and it works. It's really, really good. I really love this build. If you wanted to try to use a build like this in solo, I would replace Fasalas with leeching, right? So that's the only thing I would keep the Mafalas, I would keep the Swarm Mothers, but replace Fasalas with leeching. You'll have a lot more sustain, and you can scale up the stamina a little bit better. So if you wanted to be a solo player. So there you guys have it. This is the Defiler. Love this build. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for it. They're going to say cancerous, AIDS, blah, 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 blah. But hey, man, I'm going to use it. Defile, maim them, humiliate them. What can I say? I'm Mr. Craven, this CSO Daily. Thank you guys for watching, and once again and always, have a nice day.